In the headlines, 60 kilometers of feeder road in the heights of Dominica receive some much-needed attention. The first ever gender-based violence workshop with religious leaders hailed a success, and over $70,000 in donations for a wide cross-section of institutions in Dominica. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. I'll be back with the details right after this. Thanks for staying with us. First up, 20 million EC dollars have been allocated for 60 kilometers of feeder roads. That's according to project coordinator in the Ministry of Agriculture. Andrea Louis explains.
Mr. Nichols Esprit visited portions of lots 1 and 3 of the feeder road rehabilitation project earlier this week.
We are actually in Syndicate Heights, where a number of farmers have their plots and cultivation. This junction goes to the trail, Syndicate National Trail, which takes you up to Mont Jablotin, where they also have farmers, and there's also the Waitikubuli Trail and the Tourist Welcome Center at the end of this leg. And the leg where the work is being done is also syndicated. It is 1.4 kilometers, which will be restored by the BAM. Here is the beginning of where the intervention for Syndicate will begin. I need to mention that Syndicate is part of Lot 1. Lot 1 comprises of Salisbury and Syndicate. It's the same contractor doing both legs of the roads.
Esprit said the contractor made the decision to commence works first in Syndicate and will later move to Salisbury in January.
We are at the junction of Aose, Mont Opiton, Collio, Feeder Road. This is one of the roads that would be done under the BAM Lot 3. Lot 3 comprises the Aose, Collio Feeder Road and the Melvin Hall, Kayambok, Vauxhall Feeder Road. Work is being done on this one. We have concrete being poured along the carriageway, if you will. And then on the other part of Lot 3, which is the Melvin Hall, Kayambok Road, there is moved to have the Bailey Bridge installed, which is on island and it is on site, and preparation work is ongoing to have the Bailey Bridge installed at the Sonis.
This project falls under the Banana Accompanying Measures Program funded by the European Union. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
In other top stories, the first ever gender-based violence workshop held with religious leaders is being described as a success. That's the word from Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Dr. Kira Paul. Paul says though the number of participants was smaller than expected, the interactions proved fruitful to the cause.
And what is important in these kind of discussions is not necessarily quantity, but really quality in terms of the rich discussions that emerged. So I can say that there was a success. We met the intended objective. We came to a consensus. One, to recognize that the church has an important role to play in gender-based violence in terms of its doctrine sometimes, in terms of the way that we relate to each other within the church community as well, and in terms of the way in which sometimes the church leaders mediate or counsel persons who are involved in gender-based violence.
The acting director noted that one of the key talking points was the recently amended Sexual Offences Act.
In that discussion, we brought out a lot. You know, we had the recent amendment of the Sexual Offences Act, and there are a number of implications for women and girls within there, especially married women. So that was a major topic because, you know, the church stance on marriage, and there's this public opinion that criminalizing marital rape opens doors for dysfunctional families, and that what the church wants to do is to preserve families. And so we had some really rich discussions around that. Of course, you may not get everyone to side with, to look at it from that gender perspective, but however, we had some really good discussions.
Paul says that while not expecting to see a complete turnaround in behavior, she is certain that now the seed has been planted, positive results will come forth.
What I can say is that a number of the participants have promised to work with the Bureau of Gender Affairs, have promised to invite us to do sessions, sensitization sessions, have promised to engage us in perhaps projects, and so that, you know, we can educate their members, we can educate the communities within the work. And something that came out, and it was striking, is that a number of them recognize that they need to reach out beyond the walls of the church, because sometimes the persons within the church, your church walls, are not necessarily the ones who need to hear what it is that you have to say. But as a church leader, your influence is not only confined to the church itself, but it expands to the community in which you serve as well.
This workshop forms part of the Bureau's 3-year social mobilization campaign funded by the UN Women. Meantime, a pastor with the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Dominica says the workshop on gender-based violence was timely.
It was timely because of the new act that was just passed. And you know, there's a lot of debate on the act, and a lot of persons are saying that because a man is married, or because a woman is married to a man, that he is liable to get certain privileges at any time. And it is timely because of that, because of this new act. It tends to protect the women, or either gender, more than anything else. So it was timely so that we could be more educated and inform our church members.
Collier says that the church will now find more creative ways to engage men to dialogue about these issues.
Oftentimes, with the violence against women, especially sexual abuse, a lot of the men do not really understand who they are. And so as a result of that, when there is this misunderstanding of who you are, then you tend to abuse other people, thinking that this is what you're supposed to be. So this is one of the things that I plan to do, to pull the men aside and let them discuss the issues as men, you know, because men have issues too, just as women have issues. But it's difficult to get men to come to talk. But we plan to have some creative ways of bringing the men to talk. Probably going by the bayside, going and fish, you know, while we're fishing we talk, going and play some basketball. So we plan to have some different ways of bringing the men aside, especially.
In youth-related news, the National Youth Council of Dominica will meet with the youth from around the island on Saturday to put forth a work plan as the council hosts its quarterly meet of the 2015 to 2017 Youth Caucus.
Communications Officer Paul Barron said one of the main objectives is to discuss the way forward for the NYC in the upcoming year.
I think the key word here for youth as it relates to their development is really activity, because most of the times you'll find that as a young person you are increasingly concerned about your own future and your own development, where and how you find your place in society, what things you can do to motivate yourself. So the National Youth Council's role really is to serve as a bigger brother, so to speak, in ensuring that these groups are functioning first and foremost, and that they have a clear idea of what their objectives are and what it will be.
The caucus will give the youth an opportunity to present their work plans and discuss common issues among themselves. Some of the topics include health, employment, tourism, and agriculture.
What we expect, or the membership we expect, is 2 persons from every district youth council. Also recognize national youth groups or other youth groups, for example, like the 4-H and other service-based clubs that will have some sort of impact really on the whole discussions. So it will just be simplistically quite a big gathering of young persons. I know the National Youth Council is really strengthening those councils in district youth councils, in enabling them really to take charge of their own development.
When asked whether there is an ongoing employment issue among the youth and ways to resolve it, this is what Barron had to say.
Employment isn't where it should be. And I think both the private and the public sector has to work in such a studious manner in enabling and sort of initiation certain development objectives and businesses and opportunity projects for young persons to get involved. It is not simply just coming from the Dominica State College and really hitting the job market. It's not that simple. You have to, one, attain the relevant skills that you need. You also have to be ambitious enough to search for an opportunity.
The caucus will be held from 10 a.m. at the Rosa Youth Center under the theme, Youth Representing Youth Positively.
Up next, meet those who were awarded for their contribution to the Dominica Infirmary. Stay with us. Welcome back. Approximately $77,000 in donations were given to deserving institutions and individuals as the Elias Nassif Foundation celebrated its 21st anniversary on Thursday. Entrepreneur Royce Williams received the foundation's Entrepreneurship of the Year award.
I just want to say thank you for recognizing my contribution to the coconut oil industry. Mr. Nassif is somebody I look up to. I always impressed by people that doing business because that is what I choose for myself. Some people want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, but I chose to be an entrepreneur, so I always look for people that have gone before me so I could learn from them.
$8,000 in donations were shared among CALLS, the center where adolescents learn to love and serve, Social Center Daycare, Hibiscus Daycare Center, and the House of Hope, while $22,500 were distributed among deserving preschools and primary schools around the island. A total of $12,500 went towards institutions which give care for the elderly, namely the Dominica Infirmary, Care for the Elderly in Portsmouth, the Mao Senior Citizens Home, REACH, Jerome's Ministry, and the Grotto Home for the Homeless. 3 top centenarians were recognized, and the religious community also benefited from the charitable donations from the Elias Nassif Foundation. This year's donation ceremony was done in memory of the late Joey Astafans, who played an integral role in the Nassif group of companies. The Minister for Social Services has reaffirmed government's commitment to the upkeep of the Dominica Infirmary. The Honorable Minister, Catherine Daniels, says government has provided financial support to the institution and will continue to do so. Several employees were also made available to the institution under the National Employment Program. The Dominica Infirmary is currently observing Residents Awareness Week, and one of its calls was for greater financial support from the Dominican public.
In this regard, government, through the Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs, provides an annual contribution to the Dominica Infirmary in the sum of $990,000, about $486. Additionally, in the last financial year, the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, followed through on a promise to assist the infirmary in the sum of $70,000, which I think they needed badly. I'm very pleased also that through the National Employment Program, the NEP, we have placed at the service of the infirmary 15 individuals, 10 of whom serve as ward aides.
Speaking at the first ever award ceremony of the Dominica Infirmary, the minister also addressed the concern of limited space at the current facility. The Dominica Infirmary has 3 female and 2 male wards and can accommodate a maximum of 96 residents.
Let me pledge the continued support of government through the Ministry of Social Services to your excellent philanthropic services. We wish we could do more. We were looking at the spatial limitations of the infirmary and see whether, because there is need for support for the elderly, and we really wanted to see whether we could help in the expansion of the service as the demand grows higher. But the space is limited and there's only so much we can do. But if we assist in the quality of service that you have here, we will really continue to partner with you and to do so.
Minister Danielle added her voice to the call for family members to step up and take care of their relatives at the infirmary.
It was somewhat, I do not want to use the word disheartening, maybe I should say concerning, to hear of people with families at this facility playing a hands-off role. Families, I urge you to rethink your involvement in your family life. This is very important. The infirmary should not be seen or used as a drop-off point. I call upon relatives of residents of the Dominica Infirmary to play your part. These are your relatives, family members. It is your duty, your moral responsibility to care for them in whatever way you can.
The first ever awards ceremony of the Dominica Infirmary was held on Wednesday evening. Meantime, His Excellency, the President of Dominica, Charles Savary, and the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit were awarded for their sterling contribution to the Dominica Infirmary. The recognition award ceremony of the Dominica Infirmary formed part of its activities for Residents Awareness Week this week. Others who were awarded for their long-standing contribution to the infirmary over the years included Jolly's Pharmacy, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Dominica Prison Services, Carryman, Reach, St. Vincent de Paul Society, and Dowasco. And pupils of the St. Luke's Primary School will be further educated on Dominica's landscape, specifically mountains, as the NYC will host a few activities in observation of World Mountains Day.
World Mountains Day is normally observed on 11th December. According to an executive of the National Youth Council, Anna Lewis, several activities are carded this week for St. Luke's Primary.
We're partnering with the Agricultural Division and Junior Achievement, and we're just going to the schools, to encourage the students to take heed of their environment, and to reforestation is one of the parts of mountains, so trees and so on the mountains. So we're really going to them to encourage to plant some trees. And then with the younger children, Junior Achievement has a program that's going to cater for them at the preschool level. So we're working with primary school, and our partner, which is Junior Achievement, will do the preschool segment of it.
The objective of the activity is to allow the pupils to appreciate the environment and raise awareness on the importance of mountains to the country.
And Dominica is a very mountainous island, so we want to encourage them to do hikes, to do more hikes, to be more aware of their surroundings and the environment and the greenery of Dominica, and just appreciate everything within their culture and their nature. To the young people and to other schools, and even if we haven't reached to you as yet, just to bring awareness to World Mountains Day. Probably your district youth councils can do a hike, or just take a picture by your mountain and post it on your Facebook page, just to raise awareness, on your social media page, in your churches, in your communities, about World Mountains Day, because it's very important, and Dominica has a lot of mountains, and so it's an attraction to tourists, and so we're just asking everybody to be more aware and to appreciate their nature and to just observe World Mountains Day.
Coming up in sports, we'll hear from the Leewards and Windwards coaches ahead of the big clash at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium this weekend, weather permitting. In football, there was one win and a draw in matches played in the DFA Flow Division 1 League on Wednesday. In the Club Louvier versus ACS Tarish United match, ACS dominated 3-2, while Dublin and Buster Warner played to a 1-1 draw. On Friday, it will be a clash of the Trafalgar FC and Andy Williams Spartans team at Newtown. The match is carded for 6 p.m. And in the DFA Premier League on Friday, Northern Concrete and Steel Bombers, who are on 25 points, will take on Middleham United, who is on 14 at Dublin, also at 6 p.m. Meantime, the secondary schools competition continues on Friday with 3 matches on the cards. In the playoff round of the under-20s, the Portsmouth and Isaiah Thomas secondary schools will face off in an epic battle at Newtown, Savannah from 3:30 p.m. And in the under-15s, Dominica Grammar School and Castlebrew Secondary will go head-to-head in the semi-finals at Portersville, Savannah from 2:30. while at Newtown, St. Mary's Academy and Portsmouth Secondary will be creating some excitement from 2 p.m. Moving on to cricket, leading wicket taker in the PCL 4-day tournament, Rakeem Cornwall says he is hoping to use his experience playing for the West Indies to help give Hurricanes the edge over Volcanoes. Cornwall has taken a total of 19 wickets by the end of round 3.
Well, it's a very good experience playing with the A team in Sri Lanka. You're playing against quality players, playing against a few test players, so you just have to go and showcase the talent and see what is there for you. Well, as an all-rounder, you have to try and get the two departments to combine together. The batting is coming on a little bit more, working in the nets with the coach. I think it's just spending time at the crease and the runs will come. Well, as I say, you have to see what the pitch offers for a spinner, and once you be consistent in any cricket, some success will follow you with.
Alzari Joseph is another bowler on the leeward side.
What I really plan to do is just, stick to the basics, what I've been doing all the while. It's the same cricket ball, same cricket bat, so just stick to the basics, and I think that would get me and my team some success. For me, it's been a good experience, It's actually, it came upon me a bit quicker than I expected. So I'm just trying to grab my chance and use it as wisely as possible, It's actually been fun. The guys are very encouraging, So I think I could just come back here and bring back some good works.
In boxing, there were mixed results for Dominica out of Wednesday's fights in the Caribbean Development Boxing Tournament in Barbados. Nathaniel Joseph got things going for the Dominican team with a knockout win in the first round against Q1 Benjamin from Anguilla. However, our fortunes changed when Simon Joseph went down to Ajayi Jones from Barbados in round 3. Finally, Lethem Charles didn't get his best performance when he lost to R. Williams from Bahamas in the second round. On Friday, Dominican boxer John Charles will take on an Anguillan in the semi-final round. Back with more cricket, coach of the Leewards side believes more competition between the Windwards and Leewards is healthy since it could help develop players' skills. His comments as the Volcanoes and Hurricanes get ready for round 4 of the PCL Regional 4-day tournament on Friday, weather permitting.
I think Leewards and Windwards need to work closer together. That's the only that we're going to push each other forward. I know that they have this small island and big island thing. I'm a straight-up guy, straightforward guy. I would have loved to work closer with Windward Islands coaches and developers and stuff, that our program can get to the top, that our players can get to the West Indies team. And that is my personal goal.
He says he hopes the progress of the Leewards can influence other teams.
I think when you have success, it breeds success. And everybody, it's upbeat about the Leeward Islands. I've been to Trinidad, the coach from Barbados and the other territories that we have played. They notice our difference and our progress. And I hope this progress can even filter over to the Windward Islands. I know Ian very well. I know he's a very hard worker. And I hope that maybe in the future, both teams can be, instead of one is at third and one is at bottom, both can be second and first or first and second. Doesn't matter to me.
Meantime, coach of the Windwards side, Ian Allen, says expectations are high ahead of the weekend games, but still thinks there is much work to be done in order to start winning matches. The Volcanoes have played 3 games so far, but haven't won any.
We would have had some good days of training. I think the weather was kind to us, so we definitely make use of that. And I just hope that the effort and the work that we put in, we will be able to transfer that into the game coming up on Friday. Obviously, Leeward Islands started the competition well, and they obviously will be on a high. But we have a lot of work to do in terms of get back to winning ways, and we're looking forward to start in this game coming up on Friday.
He says the team needs to work together to make the win on the weekend a reality.
So far, the bowling unit has done pretty well, and we have to continue that. But I think we need to improve more on the batting. I think we really need to bat more time. We need to put more runs on the board so that we could put pressure on the opposition and give the bowlers a lot more runs to bowl at. But I think once we do that collectively, individually we've seen a few good performances, but collectively I think we need to do more of that so that we could come out winners in this game.
And on the international cricket scene, England finished day 1 of the 4th test against India on 288 for 5 in 94 overs on Thursday. Keaton Jennings top scored with 112, while Moeen Allen supported with 50. R. Ashwin picked up 4 for 75 for India. That's all the sporting highlights for now. Join us again next time. Your weather forecast is next.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Korea. Today, a trough system was a dominant feature for the Lesser Antilles, which resulted in generally cloudy skies across the Eastern Caribbean, including Dominica. We take a look now at some earlier radar imagery, and what it indicated is scattered showers across the southern portion of the Lesser Antilles with a concentration of shower activity over in the Caribbean Sea as well as over the island of Martinique. The weather tonight is expected to be generally cloudy with some scattered showers and just a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Also, some breezy conditions are expected. The weather conditions for tomorrow: partly cloudy skies with some scattered showers, and also some breezy conditions can be expected. The marine forecast: while sea conditions are expected to be moderate, waves will peak up to 8 feet. Small craft operators and seabathers are advised to exercise caution, and this caution is only extended up to this evening. Let's take a look now at the weekend's forecast. Well, as we can see, similar conditions are expected. That is, partly cloudy skies with some scattered showers is the forecast for the 3-day period. Also, some breezy conditions can be expected for the entire 3-day period, and that is as a result of the high pressure system reestablishing itself. Well, tomorrow for the rest of the Caribbean, can expect partly cloudy skies with some showers for the northern portion of the islands, and the southern portion islands can anticipate some cloudy skies with some showers. Let's take a look now at the international city forecast. Well, partly cloudy skies for New York and London, cloudy skies with some thunderstorms for Miami and Caracas, and once again the city of Beijing will enjoy some sunny skies. The sunrise tomorrow at 6:21 a.m. and will set at 5:35 p.m. For updated information, you could always visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, a recap of the headlines. 60 kilometers of feeder roads in the heights of Dominica receive some much-needed attention. The first ever gender-based violence workshop with religious leaders hailed a success, and over $70,000 in donations for a wide cross-section of institutions in Dominica. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams, and to our viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.